6 p.m. here at City Hall.
2026.
I'm sorry, 2026. Somebody didn't change it. Roll call, Sean,
I'm here.
Alicia,
Here.
Brad Smith.
Here.
Mark.
Here.
Clay. Here. Larry.
Here.
Ashley.
Here.
Steve is on. Here. And Brad Simmons is out sick. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people in the audience. If you would, please stand for the invocation by Alicia and the pledge with Sean.
Dear Heavenly Father, I just want to thank you for this day you've given each and every one of us, Lord. We just thank you for all our blessings, Lord. We just come to you and ask you to guide us and watch over us as we make the decisions for our community, Lord. We give you all the praise and the glory. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, item number 3, additions, deletions, corrections to the agenda. Seeing none, we'll move to item number 4. Discuss and or approve the following meeting minutes, November 18th, 2025.
I make a motion to approve minutes November 18th.
Motion by Sean, second by Brad. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item 5, award holiday decorating contest winners. Miss Krosky.
Okay. On December 23rd, I rode around and I did the judging of the Christmas lights and decorations. First place was Miss Wesley and Veronica Spivey. They received first place. Can y'all come up for me, please? Nice yard. And I love your music. I love the music. Yes.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all so much. The other one's right here, still see it.
Yeah, go ahead
Okay.
now.
And second place was Bertha Gordon. She had a look like a nice like candy theme type going on, but it was really nice. But it did Trump over there, so it was nice. Third place was Miss Egna Diaz off of Pinecrest Avenue. She was third place. Okay.
Okay. All right, thank you, Sean.
Just send them there, grab them after.
Item number 6, report of officers. Larry?
Okay, first of all, like I said, Brad's out tonight, but Denco is going to start on phase 6 of the septic to sewer project. Those 36 sites along railroad over there. They're probably start construction on Thursday. Yesterday, they contacted us and we opened the back gate at the warehouse. They're going to store the materials in there for the project. So like I said, they should see some action, starting the end of this week. They purposely delayed it after the holiday, said they didn't have to start the project and then you go away for a period of time and come back. So like I said, they should be starting construction probably Thursday. The water tower inspection, we just had them out to look at that. There is some work that's going to be required on the water tower. The walkway, the crossbars, there's some some of this is going to have to be replaced. The top of the tank is need repair, and we don't have a full report yet. We'll get that shortly, but anyway, once we get the full report, we'll get started on taking care of those items. I know this is not related to here, but the wastewater treatment plant, PSI is going to be out there tomorrow. You start for the permeated pumps. They're going to change the seals and do the laser leveling of those seals. Remember that before, that was the issue, that we didn't have when we put those seals in. They weren't, if you didn't level them with a laser, they just didn't last. They started leaking. So, but they will be there tomorrow to start that project. And then broadband, this issue has been going on for quite a while. There was, I guess, the federal government put about $40 million into expansion of broadband throughout the rural areas. when the new administration come in, they paused the program because they saw no action being taken, even though, particularly across the board kind of thing. So they did, since then, they've come out with new direction, and 37 of 56 states and territories have submitted final approvals and are waiting approval from the National Telecommunications and Information Administration. Another 53 out of the 56 states and territories have submitted their final proposal and are waiting for review. Florida is one of them. So, and then, so like I said, there's 3 other eligible entries that haven't submitted anything, but I guess they're working them from the date it was received and reviewing them. So hopefully we'll see something, because the original map that I did see when it came out initially it looked like we had some in Moore-Haming Glades County. We had some unserved and underserved areas there that should be getting funding to either whoever's going to be providing the broadband. So if you could kind of push it on that. Our GIS mapping programs is ongoing. We'll be meeting here next week to try to put that together. It's getting very close to production. So, and I think that I have it, unless someone has something free.
Got back with you about that cable being buried.
The Xfinity or Comcast, where you want to put, has responded and said that they are in build out, and they expect to have completion and coverage in by March of 2026. So there should be in the final, I guess, stages of the build out, because like I said, it's January now. So
They've taken care of the cable, like
they're going to take care of their access cable and that, but like I said, they have not, for the last correspondence we did receive from them, like I said, they expect the build out to be complete and start lighting it up in March of 2026.
okay.
Anybody else have anything for Larry at this time? Okay. Approval of the item B. City Attorney Steve?
No, I don't have anything new. Does anybody have anything for me?
I'm good.
I do. Did you, I sent you over a message. Did you receive it?
I did.
Okay, thank you.
Can I call you about it tomorrow?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Ashley, anybody got anything for Steve other than that? Ashley, you got anything?
I don't have anything.
Okay. Item 7, approval of bills in the amount of $100,449.29.
I make a motion to approve the bills.
Motion by Sean,
Second.
seconded by Alicia. Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Citizens' comments, general concern, speakers are limited to 3 minutes.
I've got some stuff.
Go ahead, Mr.
Okay,
Higgins.
all right,
Hold on, Mr. Higgins. Beth, you got anything? Okay.
okay. I do. I had a couple of things I called. Have to be put on the agenda on a couple of things. Gonna take more than 3 minutes, but I guess talking to Steve, I maybe need to be put on the next agenda on a couple of items. But one thing I talked to Steve about, a couple of different times was maybe doing a history of CAPFA so that everybody had an understanding of how CAPFA started. And I think I've talked to Mark about this a little bit. And there's a lot of history there that doesn't need to be lost. We need to record it, have it down so future councils can understand where CAPFA come from and so forth. But anyway, I'd like to have that put on if it can be put on the agenda, that's what we do now. Or how do you do it?
Good idea.
That'd be at a CAPFA meeting at 5:30 before the next meeting.
Steve, it's gonna take more than, if we're gonna start it, it's gonna take more than 30 minutes to do it.
An hour, or how long do you think?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it could take several times. I mean, this is something that started in 1998. Well, it actually started before that, but leading up to 1998 when when, Steve and I went to see Judge Sullivan to validate the bonds, I think that was in 98. He looked at us like we were crazy when we asked for $500 million validation, but he said if we would ask for it, he would grant it. So that's where it started, that part, but it started before that. There's history before that that would lead into that. But the other, I've mentioned to all of y'all at different times about code enforcement.
Hold on, John.
All right.
Hold on. So let's address item number 1. Do y'all want to come in at 5 before CAFTA meeting so we can get the history of CAFTA?
Yes.
Can I get a motion?
Motion.
About Brad to come in at 5 o'clock,
Second.
seconded by, at the next meeting, seconded by Mark. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carries. All right, Mr. Ahern, go ahead.
Okay.
So that'll be 5 o'clock on the 20th, correct?
Yeah.
Years past, different times, I mean, we did it both with the city and the county. We've had, mobile where you actually record and have it on the bus, where public can attend and so forth, and you can ride the town. I mean, the town's a lot easier to ride than the county. We did it 2 times with the county, 2 different days to do that. But anyway, y'all are probably aware there's a lot of code enforcement problems, but when you look at them together, you see it a lot. It's a lot different. I mean, it's kind of like, I know it's sad for Mark to walk out of his front door and wonder about if a snake's going to crawl across from his house or a rat's going to run in his garage or whatever, but it's like that all over town, and his neighborhood's neat. There's a lot of them that aren't that neat, but anyway, I don't know if y'all, I think Clay, you and I have talked about it before. I mentioned Larry. I don't know if y'all have ever discussed it in a meeting or wanted to consider doing that.
Steve, you want to address that?
I think in concept, it's good. The problem, your bus would have to be ADA compliant in case anybody who's disabled would want to attend. So you'd have to make arrangements to have that ability ahead of time. The other thing I get a little leery about is when the council advocates for the prosecution of a particular case. So it's basically singling out a particular person or property. It could tend to create a problem down the road legally. I would hope that the code enforcement officer, I know she disseminates a list of kind of rolling cases that she has. So that's my qualm, because we had a recent example where you have somebody who's potentially going to sue the city because he feels that the city council singled him out. So that's where you tend to run into an issue. But I think if we could figure out a way to maybe bridge the gap, I'll have to think about it a little bit. But that's my big qualm, is number one, the ADA compliance, and making sure we're not necessarily singling anybody out.
Okay.
All right, well, I'll let him think about it. He's done it before. We've done it.
Is this something you want to do with the county, John, too, or just focus on the city?
Well, no, this was the city. I mean, the county, I mentioned the county because when I was on the county commission, we did it twice. We did it 2 different times because you couldn't cover the county in one day. It took 2 days of going to the city. The city, y'all could probably ask Colleen. She rides it twice a day, so she'd tell you how long it'd take to ride up and down every street. But you can do that. But Steve, if you study it, and I'll talk to you about it.
Yeah,
Okay?
that's fine.
Other thing that I'd asked to have on the agenda that wasn't, but I mentioned it, was the lights around the park. I've mentioned, talked to y'all about that different times, and I asked about it on the last Monday, and then on Tuesday, after I'd asked about that, 3 of them were fixed that day. They hadn't worked in since November of 24, but the rest of them could probably be fixed if you put the effort into it. And I just have to have a doctor's appointment. They working on them and within a half hour, I saw 2 of them come on. So they could be fixed. Somebody tries. But
Larry, what meeting was it that Brad told us he had ordered those parts?
It's been a couple of meetings ago.
Okay.
well, it was November when I sent you and Larry and Brad and King a text about it. The next day, they started working on them and they got the one on the corner over by the Eagles. They got it working. That was the last it was done other than these ones that were put up here on this side, the solar lights. But,
Yeah, the trouble cut really started when they were doing our downtown development project. Those lines were cut. We started that. We've been, like you say, trying to trace back what's out there and some lines had redone, but yeah, we did recently order some additional parts for that, but we'll get.
well, I just thought it was odd that I asked to be on the agenda one day, next day, 3 of them worked. So it was just, strange timing. But anyway, y'all can figure that out. So, a couple other things that I did,
Mr. Ahern, I don't mean to be rude, but you way past the 3 minutes.
well, that's why I wanted to be on the agenda, Clay, because I knew I was going to be more than 3
Yeah,
minutes.
you're
So
way
I'll
past the 3
get,
minutes.
I'll get, after the next meeting, when we meet,
We'll do another 3
we'll
minutes.
we'll do more than 3 minutes. It's going
Well,
to take a lot of the things. we
But
got
then
to
we'll
do.
just keep going meeting after meeting after meeting.
Yeah, well, we can get, Stephen said that I can have to get put on the agenda for certain things. And then you can be on the agenda. I want to be a citizen on the agenda, not a citizen not on the agenda. So, but
What Tibbs and I were talking,
Hold on, everybody, hold on. What, Steve? Steve,
Mr. Tibbs and I were talking in general a couple of weeks ago, not having anything to do with tonight's meeting, but I think we need to establish a better policy for what gets put on the agenda. Because essentially you have different hits, so to speak, whether it's a citizen or council member who wants certain items placed on the agenda, or if something's been addressed on the agenda, when can it come back up or not come back up, so to speak. So when I was talking to John about this, about where we're trying to at least implement a policy to where if something gets put on the agenda, the consensus of the council would agree to have it put on as a specific agenda item. Obviously, any citizen who has, an issue has the ability to appear and advise the council of that particular issue. And then the council should be the body to determine, hey, is this something that we need to revisit? How do we revisit it? Do we make it an agenda item, so on and so forth, as opposed to just saying, hey, I'm gonna be on the agenda, so to speak, and more or less dictating to the council what's on their agenda. So that being said, obviously it's the council's determination as to if there's a particular issue or issues that are brought to its attention that need to be addressed as an agenda item, which allows you the full opportunity to discuss it or investigate it, whatever the case may be. Then that's, I think, a better process, so to speak. So you don't, get a little different directions, or why'd you do this for this one? You didn't do it for that one, type of thing. It's a more uniform process. And I don't know if Mr. Tibbs has any comment either.
No, as you said, we definitely needed to find a process, so that it's in place and discuss every time this comes up, whether we should do it and how we should do it and all that. So we need to have a policy in place. Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Ahern, can you email our secretary on it as an agenda item?
all right, well, we can do that and, whatever, let you know what it is, what we don't want to talk about, and stuff y'all know about, but it just needs to be discussed a little more thorough in public.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, very
Thank you.
good. All right.
Huh?
Yeah, I think so.
Hey, go ahead and, hey, excuse me, sir. What's your address?
429 US 27.
No, they're here. I know what they're here for. They're gonna come up
Okay, I'm
whenever the
sorry.
next person, citizen.
I'm
wants to
sorry.
talk.
All right, next person. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, please.
Terry Morehouse, Thatcher Avenue, Boulevard. We have a light just like the one you fixed over at, by the park. And it's been out since before Ian. And we'd like to have that one fixed at the end of the street of Thatcher Boulevard and Riverside Drive.
Ms. Warren,
Where's that
did you ever
number?
put a ticket in for that light?
Yeah, about 4 years ago.
Okay.
Is there a ticket on that lot?
I don't
Brad
recall
Miller.
seeing one.
We were told that they couldn't get the parts, but it's just like that light. So now, obviously, maybe you can get the parts.
Can you make sure Brad gets that, please?
Thank you.
Next, anybody else?
I think they have something.
Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Jesse Vasquez. We own the towing company that was working with Glades County and the vape store. We were looking into maybe purchasing a property, but everywhere we've looked, it's not been coded for that. I was wondering if you guys can guide me or tell me where to go. We'd like to be part of the community and just thrive on that, and we're willing to close the vape shop. We just need our towing to be productive. We've been doing that for 15 years. It's what we know.
They're just looking for property to put the
Yeah.
vehicles on that they tow.
Have you
Commercial
found any
property.
Yeah.
properties?
So for now,
It's probably gonna have to be industrial, not commercial, which is obviously limited, but, but we have a zoning map that I think Ashley can get him. So you can see what areas are coded in what zoning category, and then go from there.
yeah, we found one, the locksmith, I don't know if you guys know him. He had a property right on 27, next to the house that's there. And he told me it was commercial, but I came in today to see if maybe that would work for that. And I was told that it wasn't exactly, it was commercial, but not exactly what we needed. And I saw another property behind Haven Fresh that is also available. I haven't talked to them or anything, but I just want to make sure that I'm looking in the right direction.
But I think according to what Steve just said, it would have to be an industrial property, not a commercial.
Okay.
And
And
yeah, both
we're
of those are
pretty-
like commercial. The ones that he's looking at, they're
Yeah,
both like
yeah.
commercial.
So, other than that, you can talk to, I don't know any property off the city that doesn't have any industrial.
Yeah.
I don't know any.
Well, the biggest piece of property that's industrial is the one across from Yacht Club. Obviously, it's a big parcel of property, and it's under one landowner. And I know in the past that they've been reluctant to entertain any offers. Obviously, that might be overkill, so to speak. But I will say that to this person that if there's a piece of property that you identify, you can always try to make sometimes it might be under the comp plan allowable as industrial and just not zoned industrial, or you might need to do a comp plan amendment. You know, it's an expensive process, whether or not you want to go through that ordeal, but you always have the ability to request a change. It just is obviously sensitive to where the property is and is it, how is it surrounded, generally speaking. So, but at least if, Ashley, if you have like the zoning map, you can provide to them. That might give them a start. And then if there's any questions, obviously we try to work with you as best we can. But it's several $1,000s to do a full scale comp plan amendment and rezoning but if you know it's property you find is worth it and you feel that there's an ability to move forward like that, you certainly are entitled to. You know, whether or not it's enacted or granted is another story, but there's always that ability.
Yeah, we're in the middle of trying to get a contract with FHP that came out to do the inspection. There's a few things that they need. They need 25 cars outdoor and 3 indoor. So we're willing to get maybe like a little structure to be able to put those 3 and fully fence it so it, you know, it doesn't look ugly or anything, and just do whatever we have to do to make that work.
Yeah, typically any storage like that is an industrial zone. So that's where you would need to look first and then kind of work from there.
Yeah, give me a day or so to, because I can try to look up some properties that I might see on these.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. The mayors and council give reports. Sean, you want to go first?
Yeah, I have, well, my question thing is for Brad, but he's not here. So I'll wait. I'll table it and I'll just wait.
Is it something Larry can answer?
That's about the reading the meters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I'm good.
All right. Alicia?
Sorry I missed last meeting. I've still been fighting this cold. I know it was brought up and I'll actually ask for it to be on my agenda about the storage containers. I did watch the meeting and see that it was a tied vote on that. But I just wanted to state kind of my case since I wasn't here that day for that vote. But I don't want to proceed with that. With the storage containers, I want to keep the ordinance as is.
Okay.
Just so y'all know where I'm at on that. And that's all I had. I had something for Brad, but I'll get with him tomorrow privately.
Okay. Thank you. Does anybody have anything for Alicia? Good. Marcus?
Yeah, we didn't get another code enforcement paper this week of what all's been put on and what all's been taken off. I'd like to see one of them.
Okay. That's good.
I'd also like to know how many scrap yards are in town, in people's yards. Is there any litigation going on right now in any of those, Steve?
No, sir. The last one was actually what I was alluding to before, was the Ogletree property. That gentleman was evicted. He's actually appealing the eviction through the 6th District Court of Appeals. I noticed that some of the problem was cleared up, but some of it hasn't been. I mean, technically, the current condition is in violation of the code. It's going to fall back on the Ogletrees, unfortunately, because they're the owners of the property. Now, what's been done or not done at that point, I can't speak to because I would need to get something from Colleen to see what she's done or not done. So, but that's the only one I know of, unless you know of a different one, Mark.
We are working on the property of Fairland Avenue Jade, bring it in as a safety hazard.
That's going through the courts, right?
That will be going, we will be requested to go to the magistrate, yes, for a hearing too, because there are some safety concerns with it, and it also it's hazardous. There's stuff sitting out there that's not fenced off, not things that anybody can walk on. For example, kids can walk on, have access to it, and we've started writing up that particular property to try to schedule a magistrate hearing, because in the ordinance, the new ordinance for code, if there is a safety issue in there, you can immediately go to after you notice them, you can go to a magistrate hearing and try to get action through that process. So we will be getting.
My only concern that I already had voiced to Larry is, and I know there was a problem with somehow in our software that we lost, or the notices that Colleen was using were legally inadequate. So I had instructed her, and I had copied Mr. Tibbs, so he was obviously aware as to the minimum notice requirements that need to be put into her notices of violation, and gave her a couple examples. So I'm hoping that she's now using the right form, because what she was using before would not, I couldn't even go to court on that.
Yeah, we have reformatted all of our.
Okay, good.
Steve,
Yes, sir.
before the next time you're in Moorhaven, stop by City Hall and look at the forms. Because 6 months from now, I'm not gonna be sitting here at this table and listen to that conversation again. That's done. That's over. This council and the residents of Moorhaven have begged and begged and begged to fix this mess, and we ain't done it. Let's get this right. I'm done with this now. I promise you I'm done with it.
Well, I had provided the samples to Larry. The best sample would be what they typically use in Hendry, which has a notice of violation and encompassed with the hearing. So and he and I have spoken about it. So yeah, I'll get up with him to make sure what we're using is what I believe to be legally sufficient.
Larry,
And the most recent one we filed is in.
I understand, but listen to me. Colleen, you listen to me, and Steve, you listen to me. Don't let me be sitting at this table in a month and hear this conversation. Please don't do it. I'm tired of this. Next.
Well, they're popping up all over. They're in people's yards. I don't know whether he just collects scrap metal as a hobby, but something needs to be done about it. And it needs to be done soon, Steve. It's getting worse.
Well, to me, the proper procedure would be anybody can make a complaint through code enforcement on a particular piece of property. And then it gets investigated by Colleen, and that's where your paper trail becomes very important. So just because you're a city councilman doesn't mean that you can't report a violation. What I was alluding to before when John had the floor was that I am leery from a cumulative body targeting a particular piece of property, because then it gets construed into something it doesn't need to be, and potentially opens the city to liability. But if there is a particular property that you believe is in violation, then you should make a complaint in writing to Colleen. It's your right as a citizen of Moorhaven, and then it's up to her to initiate the process. And then if there's ever any questions, she has the ability to call me at any time, where Mr. Tibbs and I talk about these things all the time. So it's troubling to me to hear about this or that at a meeting, but not know that there's already been a complaint lodged, whether it's by you, Mark, as a private citizen, or by Mr. X, likewise a private citizen. It should, that's how the process should be. It should be uniform, and it should just be streamlined to the point where a complaint initiates it, whether it's founded or not founded. That's Colleen's job. If it needs to be brought to a hearing because if it's a hazard or whatever, repeat violator or whatever the case may be, that's Colleen's job. And not hear about, well, there's this and there's that, but not know whether or not there's been corresponding complaints made. So it puts the burden on you. I'm not picking on you, Mark, but like in this instance, it puts the burden on you, Mark, to make a complaint. If 123 B Street is you believe in violation, then you need to make a report to code enforcement about 123 B Street. No more, no less, period.
So,
Go ahead.
go ahead, Mark. No, you got the floor.
So she's riding around during the morning and she can't make a complaint when she sees this grass.
She likewise has the ability, that's her role as a code enforcement. If she sees a condition of a property that's what she believes to be in violation of the code, she has the ability to initiate a code enforcement case. All I'm saying is that you likewise, as a private citizen, have the ability to initiate a code enforcement case.
So
It has to be in writing.
it has to be in writing
Started.
and it has to be, but Steve, I think what Mark's not getting here, in some instances, in all instances, there has to be a paper trail.
Yes, you heard me harp about that, whether it's employees or whatever the case may be, we can't do squat without a paper trail.
Yeah.
So-
John Ahern, he's just as entitled to write a complaint as any of us on this board.
Exactly.
Yes, he is.
Everybody is in the same shoes as a citizen of Moorhaven.
But all you gotta do is sign your name to it.
Now, whether or not you want to is another story, but everybody has the same right.
No, I 100% agree.
It's sad that you have to
Yes.
have a situation
100%.
where somebody, you gotta go and tell Brad,
Clean
Clay
yard.
come by your house and he didn't like something he saw in your yard,
Right.
and so it's your fault.
No, you're right.
It shouldn't be. I mean, Colleen can look at it, she sees it, and it's
What he's saying we can't do.
No.
Well, I agree with what you're saying because it can be used as a vendetta against somebody. I got a case like that right in Henry County where, we're complaining about the person who's filing bogus code enforcement against my clients, but it is what it is. But the important thing is that if there's a violation and you see it, you should report it. Whether or not you want to, because it then puts you in the loop as being the complaining person, that's another story. But likewise, Colleen has the ability to, if she sees a violation on a piece of property, she can initiate it likewise. And that's where that list that Mark was talking about comes into play, because at least you know what are active cases. And if you don't see it on the list, then there's a way to get it on the list.
Well, I mean, just thinking out loud here, say, John, I'm gonna use you for an example.
That's fine.
If John turns one in, or I'm sorry, Colleen turns one in, and John not knowingly turns one in, there's two. That right there would kind of alert somebody what.
Well, but at least you know that, hey, it's already under active code enforcement.
Yeah. But that wouldn't be two different, I mean, what I'm saying is, now it kind of throws a flag out there for somebody to say, wait a minute, something must not be right here.
Unless it was for a different condition, what was already on it, as to why it was already on the list.
Yeah. Correct, okay. And so that everybody understands, correct me if I'm wrong on this. So there's case number one. Colleen writes it up, or John reports it. That's case number one. Once it is cleared up, Colleen signs off that, yeah, it's cleared up, it's done. An hour later, they can go back and make the same mess. That's not the same case. That now becomes case two, correct?
That would be a repeat violation that's handled separately under the code and with a more stringent set of procedures.
Okay.
The new ordinance says that if it's a repeat violation, you can legally go to a complaint, to the complaint stage.
Okay. We beat this horse enough. Mark, you got anything else?
No.
Brad?
I just had something for Brad, but regarding the easement ditches, but I'll get with him. Clear this up. That's all I had.
That leaves me. And two of my items have already been knocked off by other people. So a couple years ago, council voted, Sean, you weren't on at the time, Alicia, I believe you were, that we were gonna name Third Street Perry, after Miss Julie, after Miss Julie Perry. We haven't ordered the plaque. We need to do that. And I'd also like to have I don't know, a celebration, not a celebration, but some kind of a.
Should we do it at Art in the Park since she's was a big part of, or do you want something separate?
I think we need to do something separate
Okay.
because this is, although I know Miss Perry and the whole Perry family. And I don't believe they're the type that wants the accolades, but I think in this case, this is what we need to do. So I've asked, a few members, my wife being one, and, if she would like to be on a committee to form something in the park that day that when we cut a ribbon or place the plaque. So, Kim's on there. If anybody else would like to be on there, Beth, you feel like doing it? You can't do it? Okay. Anybody else that wants to, Alicia, if you'll look into it, or have them call me, and we need to get that done by February. And late February before Challenger.
Like, talking about the park, I mean, the park was named after the Perry family, you know, a long time ago. And in doing this road, I think it's great because I mean, Miss Perry's been instrumental in a lot of things, the library especially. And, but one thing that I've asked about several times is the park monuments out here. It needs to be cleaned up and painted before you have celebration.
Yeah, I agree, John.
And
Ashley and Amy and I walked through here about a month ago, and
yeah,
basically I had to apologize for some things.
yeah.
So
There's 3 dead bushes out there. They're never coming back to life. I've mentioned those several times
Yeah.
too. But they're dead. Been dead for 2 years. But
yeah, well,
Okay.
I'll get Kim to get with you tomorrow.
Okay.
But I'll get that done by February.
I need somebody to tell me what kind of sign they want ordered.
Get me a picture and I'll, if y'all don't
Okay,
mind,
We
I'll
originally
get
had
pictures.
said that since we can't, we're just kind of.
It's
It's just gonna
yeah,
be a dedication.
yeah, Dedication,
Dedication
correct.
that on the corner there where the stop sign is at the one way, was on a stop sign there, this way.
Yep.
Putting it there as you enter into the park on the road.
Is it gonna be
And
a smaller sign or a big sign? Cause
that
was where
I
it
thought
was
we had
before.
picked one out that was like,
Yeah.
a little bit off from the.
Well, Jake was still on board then, and Jake was supposed to be picking it out, and he never did.
Yeah, I think that's
so.
what we had originally talked about though.
Just
Oval.
get us something by next meeting and we'll, as a group, we'll pick it out.
Okay.
Just get us some pictures.
Yeah,
and
get us
we'll go
some
from there.
examples. Or
Okay.
we'll fix it.
All right. I'm not gonna keep beating the code enforcement, that we know where we're at with that. Anybody have anything for me?
So for the second place, one is here.
Okay, you want me to call her up? Go ahead.
All right, for the second place, one for the Christmas decoration is Ms. Brooklyn Gordon.
Thank you.
Congratulations, thank you.
Don't spend it all in one place. Item 10, discuss financial statements if needed.
Make a motion to adjourn. Second.
Second, motion by Sean, second by Alicia. Any discussion?